In my last parish, we had a wonderful nursery. Two of the four walls were nothing but windows that opened out onto the woods and the meadows beyond. Periodically, we would buy new toys for the kids to play with. It was a bright, wonderful place. And then prominent display in that room was a portrait of Jesus. It showed him with his hair being blown in the wind and a great, big, broad grin on his face. And many people, when they entered the room, would say, that's my favorite portrait of Jesus. Well, in today's gospel, Jesus has no smiles and grin for us. It says that he was being followed by a great multitude on his way to Jerusalem, and that he turned and said, and the sense is almost that he turned on them and said, if you're going to be my disciple, it's not going to be as easy as walking down the road to Jerusalem, seeing miracles and hearing words of wisdom. If you're going to be my disciple, it means that you will have to hate your family, you will have to give up your possessions, you will have to take up a cross of suffering, and you may even be called upon to give up your life. Now, my response to that is, wow, how can you possibly comply with that? That's not what I signed up. But before we go too far and walk away from this gospel and say, I can't do anything with it, consider the effect of what Jesus is trying to say in this passage. What he's trying to say is, get rid of the brush and the tangle and the detritus of your life. Get rid for a few minutes of the busyness and worry and anxiety of life. And think about this. What if you reach a place in life where you have to make a stand? Where is it that you would stand? If you reach a place in life where you have to put all of your eggs in one basket, what is that basket? What is the highest priority? The most important thing in your life? What is that? Now, if you do that, you might be surprised by the result. When I was Bishop of Montana, we had a small congregation in a small town that decided to close, and the diocese needed to sell the building, so it was put on sale. And one day, the real estate agent called me and said, well, I need to tell you, Bishop, that it's going to be hard to sell this building because it has no foundation. And I said, what do you mean? How can you have a building with no foundation? And he said, well, it doesn't. It just sits there on some gravel. We live in a culture where there are many, many appeals for allegiance, for devotion, for commitment. Many, many voices that call to us and say, over here, come this way. Listen to me, buy my product. What if we're building a culture built on gravel? What about you? Is your life built on gravel? And then, secondly, consider who it is that's making these demands of us. It's Jesus. It's quite clear, the text says, that he's traveling down the road to Jerusalem, the city of destiny. He knows very well what lies ahead for him, that it will be death and suffering. And he seems to want to say to those people who are following him, be careful, because when you walk with me, it'll require all that you have. And that's what he gave. He went to Jerusalem, and there he offered himself up on the cross. And when you read those stories of Jesus' crucifixion, it becomes clear that he has been assaulted by almost all the forms of evil that you can think of. Social evil, religious evil, political evil, natural evil. They're all piled on him. And Jesus doesn't try to escape. He lays down no curses, no calls for vengeance. He doesn't ask for his followers to rise up and rescue him or call down bands of angels to carry him to heaven. He absorbs all the evil piled on him, and he makes it God's own. This means there is no limit to God's commitment to us. He'll take it all on our behalf. He'll absorb it all. Nothing can stand in the way of God's commitment. In the Old Testament, probably the most used description for God is steadfast love. Love that you can build your life on. Love that is for you. And Paul, in another one of his letters to the Romans, says there is nothing in all creation, not life, death, angels, powers, principalities, anything. There isn't anything that can stand in the way of the love of God. And that's what the resurrection says to us. That love of God manifest on the cross is the most powerful force in the world, that we can lay our lives on it without anxiety, without fear, knowing that God will be with us. In the Protestant Reformation, some of the reformers said the gospel in 2 words is simply for us. God is for us. And you can build your life on it. Some of you may know Bishop Sami Azariah. For many years, a bishop in Pakistan. And then for a while, he moved here into the Diocese of Los Angeles and lived in Riverside. And he has recently gone back to Pakistan to head up an institute there. And before he left, he and I were chatting, and he said, well, you know, I'm back to Pakistan. And I said, ooh, that's a real act of courage. And it is. Pakistan is one of those places in the world where Christians are persecuted. Periodic churches are bombed and Christians die. We discussed that, and he said to me something very interesting. He said, you know, that's why I ask everyone I can confirm this question. Are you willing to die for Jesus?